welcome back to part 6 of making a Discord bot and Discord.net. So, before we start coding, we need to know what we're going to be doing, and that is going to be doing the level system. The next episode will be the coin system. When I was doing a video for both of them, it was way too long, so I decided to just break them up. So this is going to be the level system. So before we do that, we need to understand a few things. And the first thing is the what we will be using as our side tool. Because I was talking about it in the last episode, or the last part. I was saying that there's a tool that allows you to access or modify a Sqlite data without corrupting it. And so this is where, well, that's not it, but this is the actual tool. Um, this is called DB Browser for Sqlite. So essentially what this does is it accesses or opens the Sqlite file, and it basically allows you to modify the data here. As you can see, it has our users table here. If I go to browse data here, it has entries here. We will be calling these fields or columns here, and then these are going to be called these are going to be called rows and such. Okay. So let me quickly do something real quick, and this is going to be just 0. Okay. Apply. Okay. Oh wait, that is wrong. We just want that. Nope. We just want it to be like that. What? We just want 0. Okay, there we go. Okay. So when you do changes like this, you want to make sure. I also want to change this as well. This is going to be 200. Apply here. Okay, so when you make changes like this, make sure you hit write changes like that and close database. If you're wondering where you can get this is the website you want to go to, sqlitebrowser.org/dl/. This is where this will take you to the download page to download the tool. And this offers this is supported by any operating system, which is nice. So if you have Mac OS, you can do it through the homebrew or nightly builds. You can go there. If you have Linux, this also tells you everything for Linux. If you're on Windows like me, there is these options right here. You can pick the one that works best for your PC, whether it's 32 bits or it's 64 bits. Just don't choose the .zip file or the portable app. Just choose the standard installer one. I chose the standard installer for 64-bit Windows because that works best for my PC. But yeah, so you want to just click that and just install it. It's easy to do. Just click install and such. Okay. The next thing we want to do here is we're going to understand what the level equation is going to be. So the first thing we need to do here is this is going to be ffx. So ffx is going to be our XP needed. Then we're going to have 50 times by x to the power of 2. Okay, and there we go. This is the level equation. Okay. So what does this do? Well, it doesn't. It's hard to see right now, but let's do x equals 2 here. Okay. So we'll come up here and we'll see what makes it should be over here. Okay, right here. So for level 2, we need 200 XP. Okay. What about level 1? Let's look at level 1. Okay. Level 1 is 50. That's a massive gap, you're probably wondering. That's 150 XP to get to level 2 from level 50. And that is true. That's what makes this a level equation, is because it's an exponential graph, not a linear graph. So it increases over time for each level, which makes this really good to use. Okay. So this is what we're going to be using as our equation, which is f of x equals 50 times x to the power of 2. Okay. So we are going to start programming now. The first thing we need to do here is actually make a new folder, and we're going to just call this systems. This will make sense in a few. Next, we need to make a class. We are going to be calling this class to be a level system.cs. Okay? In this file, everything that has to do with levels and such will only be in this file. The reason for it is so then we have everything in one place, which will be really nice in the future. Okay? So we want this to be a public class here. Okay? Next thing we want to do is write the equation out, of course. So we need to do f of x is equals to 50 times x, and we need to do the caret to the power of 2, and then we're just going to write notes here. So where f of x is xp needed and x is level. Okay, so we have that. Okay, let's now make the first. Let's make a method here. Let's do public. It should be a public. Let's do a double. I'll explain why we want it to be a double very soon. Public double get x or level equation. Okay, let's pass in levels here. So we want an int level. Okay, and we want to make sure this is return 0 real quick. Okay, and we're going to do is a double xp is equals to and it's going to be math.floor. So floor here, let's see here if it will show. Floor just basically returns the largest integer value less than or equals to a specific decimal number. This is hard to explain, but essentially it's just basically it returns it back to a whole number essentially, if it's possible. And then we want to do math.round. Round will help the floor out a bunch by rounding it up to the nearest whole number basically, or even number. Okay, now what we want to do is 50 times by x, but we can't do that because we need to do math.pow. Pow is for power. The first thing is the base, which is where the primary x is. So x is just going to be level, and then the power is going to be to the exponent. But in here, let's just do +1 here because we're going to pass in the current user's level, and we're going to see how much they need for the next level. So yeah. Okay. So we have that. There we go. Okay. Now we just need to XP. Okay. So what is a double? So the first thing we need to understand before we explain what a double is what a float is. We already know what a integer is. An integer is basically a whole number. It does not have a decimal. A float is a decimal number. It is not. It can be a whole number or a decimal number. A double is essentially a float. I think the only difference is doubles are shorter, or floats is infinite. Like it can have infinite bytes, I believe. Double has a certain point, like an integer. But anyway, so why do we want this to be a double? By default, the math.floor right here. By default, this equation could return a double number, a decimal number to us. And the rule of casting, because if I explain what casting is in the roll command video, the rule about casting here is you can't cast a double into an integer. However, you can cast an integer into a double. The reason for that is because a double can be a whole number, but is expressed as a decimal number. So yeah, a double number can be used to equal a integer, but it's very unsafe to do that. So you usually want to cast the integer as a double to interact with another double object. Okay. So now we have the equation here. Now we're just going to do is a public bool, and we're just going to say can level up. Okay. And we're just going to pass in we want the int level here, and we want to just make this be by default return false here. But anyway, so what we're going to do here is we are going to do var xp, or let's do need xp. Let's make this be a camel case, and then what we're going to do is get level, and then we're just going to pass in level here, and I want to make sure that this var is actually a double because I know what type it is. Okay. And then we want in here also is a int current xp. Okay. Now we're going to do an if statement. So we need to do is if current xp is greater than or equal to need xp, then we're going to return true here. Okay. By default, because if this is not true, then by default it goes to false, so return false here. Okay. And we're gonna make another method. We're gonna make two more methods here. The first one's gonna be a public. It's gonna be a public bool. We need this to be actually an async task. Async task. Reason for it, you will see why. Level up. Okay. And we want it to have a socket. I think it's a socket user message. No, socket command context. That's what I want. CTX. Okay. Before we do anything more, we actually need to do a few more things in the database file. I forgot to do this in the beginning, but we can do this now. I found a way to prevent the database from locking itself. The problem was that the connection was still there. And I noticed that I have some problems here like this. I didn't close the connection. So we're going to fix this now. So we need to actually change this. We're going to do the create table first. We need this to be an async task here. The reason for this is I'll show you why. So CMD, so right here, it's CMD is not, the connection is not closed for the CMD. So we need to do is the CMD, we need to do await cmd.dispose async. We want to use async here because it's more beneficial for a bot, because how async and synchronously work is that async waits till something is done before it continues. Synchronously just continues without waiting for anything. We want to make sure that everything is done before we continue and close the database, or we will have problems if we did synchronously. We need to come down here as well. We need to do cmd dot, not cmd, but we need to go back up here. We need to change this to be from a void to async task, and then we need to go down here and we need to do await cmd dot dispose async. Okay. Now we need to come over here and we need to do the same thing essentially. We need to do is cmd dot execute. No, we don't need to do that. We need to do first thing is result dot await result. I forgot one more thing. I need to make sure this is an async task here, but this can't be a void, so we actually need to pass in task as a player. So we need to do async task, then we use the arrows, and we just put in player here, and we put that there. This will return the type of player, but allows us to use async here, so we can use await keywords. Await result dot dispose. But first, before we do that, we need to make sure it's await dot not await, but results dot close. Result dot close. Please, thank you. I need to make sure this is capitalized. So results.close, await dispose. Then we do cmd dot, can I do close? Nope. So I have to do await result dot, result, cmd dot dispose async. Okay, and then we just do db dot close connection. Okay, and then we need to change here. This one does need to change quite a bit, and then we need to add a method here. But first, so async task, and we want to return the type of bool here, and then so problem here is the return. I'll show you why I'm saying that. CMD dot no wait, await CMD dot dispose async, and then we do await CMD, not CMD, we don't need await. What we need to do is db dot close connection here. Why is it like grayed out? Because it's unreachable code detected. Returns is essentially if you return something, anything that's under it will never get reached because return exits out of the method. So we actually need to bring this up here, right? But what if results.has rows returns true? It never reaches here. So this is where we actually be creative here, and we do something else. So what we do here is we make a variable. So we make a variable called bool exist equals false by default, and then we just do exist equals true if the rows has if the result does have rows. Then we just do return exist, and that will fix it. Okay, now we're going to come up here and we're just going to make a method, and it's going to be called a public async task, and we're going to have this be a type of bool. It's going to be update player. The reason why we're going to have it be a type of bool is so then we can make sure that it executed correctly. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we can just do player here. So we do player. Okay, and then we're just going to go down here and return true. Not true, but false here. Okay, now what we do is string query equals. Okay, now I'm going to teach you a new thing in Sqlite, which is update users set, and we want to do the level, not level, but we want to do coins first. Coins is equals to, it's going to be player dot coins, and then we want to do level is equals to player dot level. Then XP is equals to player dot XP. Not coins, but XP. Okay. And then we also need to do is a where statement. So where ID is equals to player dot Discord ID. There we go. Now we have the query statement. This is essentially saying update users and set coins to be whatever player.coins is, level to be whatever player.level is, and XP to be whatever player.xp is, where ID is equals to the player.discord ID. So yeah. Next, what we need to do is an Sqlite. Not that. We want to do Sqlite command. Sqlite command. No, thank you. Okay. Sqlite command. CMD equals a new Sqlite command with passing query and db.myConnection. Okay. Next, what we do is cmd.prepare here, and then what we do from here is cmd.execute non-query. Then we do await cmd.dispose async, and then we do db.close connection. We can have this be a void statement, to be honest. Let's do that. Let's make this be a void statement. Okay, task. Okay, so that's all we need to do in here, but not really. So there's a problem here. Since this is an async task, and database doesn't have a return, not database, but the constructor does not have a return type. So we can't use the await stuff in here, but we can. How we do this is we use the .get waiter and .get result. That will allow us to basically convert the create table, because it's an async task, into a void statement for the database to use, because void is a usable keyword or return type for a constructor, whereas async task is not. Okay, so we have that all there. Okay, now let's go back to the level system. Now we can do stuff in here. So the first thing we need to do here is, of course, we forgot one more thing, which is the player. Okay, we need a player because we're going to set stuff in the command or in the event handler. Okay, now what we're going to do here is not XP. I don't know why I did that, but what we need to do here is we need the database. So we need to do database db equals a new database. Okay, so we have that done, right? Okay, next what we need to do here is ctx dot, no, we don't need to do that. We need to do player dot level is going to be plus equals 1. So plus equals is essentially the same, is equivalent to a plus plus, which is incrementing by 1. But the plus equals, what it does is allows us to set it to be incrementing by a certain amount, so like 10 for an instance. But we could honestly do plus plus here, level, and we just do plus plus, and then that'll be equivalent to the plus equals 1. But I prefer to have it to be plus equals 1 here. Why do we use plus equals here instead of player.level equals player.level plus 1? You can probably see why we don't use it, because it's longer and we are lazy, so we choose not to do that. Okay, so we have that, and the next thing we need to do here is going to be player.xp is going to equal to 0. We want to reset the XP back to 0, so they have to work harder to get to the next level. Okay, so we have that. We have everything done there. Okay, we can honestly give them coins, you know, like for every time they level up, we can say, oh, you got X amount of coins. We could do that, but that would be for the next video, because that's where the coin system is going to be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a embed builder. Embed equals a new embed builder. Okay. Title is going to be it's going to be just like ctx dot user dot username leveled up. Okay. Now we just do description. We can say like what level you are now. So like we can say your level is now, and we just do it will just be player dot level. Okay, and we could do color here. Let's make the color to be Discord dot color. Let's make the color be, let's do orange. Let's do orange. I like that color. Okay, and I want to remove Discord because that's ambiguous. We don't need it there. Okay, now we just do await ctx dot channel dot send message async, and then we just put in embed, the property embed, and you just pass an embed dot build, and there we go. And that's the level up. Okay, what if the player can't level up? Like, how do we give it XP, or give them XP? Okay, we need to make a new method, and we're just gonna say public async task. Not async task. We can make this. Can we make this? We do need to make this async task. Async task, and this is gonna be add XP to user. And I forgot one more thing we need to do in here. The other thing we need to do here is actually we need to update the player. So what we need to do here is await db dot update player, and we just pass in player here. Okay. Next thing we need to do here is now add XP. So what we do here is we're just going to do player, and there we go. Now what we do is player dot xp is going to just be plus equals 1 here, and we're just going to do await. We can't do that because we need to create the database. So we're just going to do database dot database db equals a new database dot database. And now what we do here is we're just going to do await db dot update player. That's simple. Okay. So we have that all done, right? Okay, so what we're going to do next here is we're going to actually implement this into the event handler. As you can see, we have some problems here. That's because we need to make sure that this is a wait here. This also needs to be in a wait here. And we also need to come up to the profile command, and we need to make sure that this is actually a wait statement. Okay, there we go. Now let's go back to the event handler. Okay, and let's make a variable, and we're going to say level system. We'll just call it love sys, short for level system. It's going to be a new level system. Okay, now we come down here and we're just going to say if what we need to do here first is player is equals to await db dot get player by id context dot user dot id, and then what we need to do is if levels dot can level up, and we pass in the player dot level, and then we pass in player dot xp. Okay, and then so let's say if they can. So if they can, what we're going to do is await level system dot level up, and we're just going to pass in context and player. And then by default, if they can't, we need to make sure we do an else statement here, and we're just going to say await level system dot add xp to user, and we're just going to pass in the player. Okay, that's simple. That's all we really need to do. Now we can test it and see if it works. Let's do that real quick. Oh, wrong place. Okay, we have it over here. Hold on. As you can see, I was messing around with it a little bit. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just do something here. Okay, leveled up. Nice. Okay, we're leveled up to level 2 because the code is a little bit wrong. But anyway, so we can do profile here, and there we go. And I have not had the database lock on me yet. Let's do something here. We do profile here, and we got 3 XP because I just wrote 2 messages from the profile command. So that's nice. So everything works here. As you can see, I leveled up as well. The colors was weird. I thought I set them correctly. I might have not done that correctly, but it does not matter because you can probably mess around with it and edit it to be however you want it to be. So yeah, I will. That's about it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one, which will be the coin system here. The coin system is going to be interesting because I wouldn't say it's interesting, but it's going to be fun to do. And then we will do the shop command after that. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. So bye.